What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. And today, we had a fascinating development happen in the state of South Carolina today. Senator Tim Scott just announced he is running for president of the United States from the great state of South Carolina today. And he had a very unique announcement. It was certainly an announcement of our time. I mean, it was one of the most bizarre, questionable announcements I have ever seen in the past couple of years at the very least. But the question is this: was it actually a good announcement? Was there some good parts? And can Tim Scott even win? Is there any hope whatsoever of, I should say even win, just have even a shot of taking second place? That's the discussion we're going to have today. And before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, guys. Go follow Real American Politics on Twitter. It is a great Twitter account that I recommend everybody follows. Of course, follow the Rumble page for exclusive content. And of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $3 a month, you can join Real American, which is a phenomenal deal, as it helps support the daily content we all know and love. You love the daily content? Well, this is the best way to support it. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. And you may notice something. The video may look a little bit different to you guys. I'm trying something out a little different. It's called 4:3 aspect ratio. I was thinking, I personally am a big fan of this aspect ratio. I think it looks nicer. Just let me know down below in the comments, should I keep using this aspect ratio for some videos, old videos? Because it's a style choice. I think it looks better. But there will be a poll in there will be a poll in the community tab later asking the question of, should I use this 4:3 aspect ratio? It looks more like a square on YouTube. I personally think it looks better on your screen. That's my opinion, but I want to hear your opinion. So this is kind of a test run, but you can still see everything clear as day, so you're not missing anything out. I just think that it looks better. So let me know down below or in the community tab about, should we use this style more often or should we just get rid of it? This is just a test. I want to see how it goes. All right, enough promotion stuff. Let's get into it. So, Tim Scott had certainly a fascinating announcement in the state of South Carolina. Tim Scott's announcement here in North Charleston, South Carolina on Monday, that he was running for president of the United States, came mere days before Ron DeSantis is expected to declare his own far more ballyhooed campaign, joining Donald Trump in what has looked for months like a two-person race for the Republican nomination. Yeah, this has certainly been a weird announcement. I mean, most people were thinking, Tim Scott? The dude's pulling in single digits, not even high single digits. Most polls, it's low single digits, like 1-2% nationally. And the state's announcement was bizarre is an understatement. Now, let me be clear. This is the thing about Tim Scott. He seemed kind of likable in this rally. No, some of his stances on issues is cringe. That doesn't make him a great candidate whatsoever. But I think he seemed likable. That's what the key word is. He was likable. You know, he was talking to the crowd. You know, he was talking about his life story. He was definitely energetic. He was way more energetic than certain Republicans. He was talking about some stuff. And, you know, he kept the crowd somewhat into it. But overall, it was a very cringe rally. I mean, he had his nephew involved, and his nephew was acting kind of just bizarre up there. And then Tim Scott, I'm sorry, dude, but you just copied and paste Trump's platform on stuff like manufacturing and trade. Like, it's not bad, but it's just weird that 5 years ago, and I know the Republican Party has moved to the right on these issues, but 5 years ago, Trump was called a racist for supporting, you know, America First stuff. Well, now you got people like Tim Scott supporting it. When he called Trump racist in 2016. And that was another big thing. He went with the Democrats, or he didn't even say that. He said, like, America's not racist. Well, yeah, that's kind of obvious. There are problems, but it's just cringe. It doesn't appeal to anybody, and the only real good parts that were unique was definitely the parts that came up with God. This is the one thing I'll give Tim Scott credit for. He talked about how we need to bring back God to the forefront. You know, we are one country under God, one nation under God. We are a Christian country. And that's the part of this rally that I agree with a lot. This is what I give Tim Scott credit for. At least he talks about it. That's my big fault with Trump, my fault with DeSantis, my fault with everybody. They don't talk about religion. Tim Scott's so far the only one that has. Now, let me be 100% clear. This doesn't mean I'm going to support Tim Scott. I'm just saying that I'm glad somebody's talking about it because there's a clear correlation with the decline in... Excuse me, folks. My mic cut out, I think. But there is a clear correlation between the downfall of religion and just the degeneracy of the West. That's what's happening. And I'm glad that there is a major, even a semi-major candidate running that will focus on that stuff, on the issue of God. But in what's likely to become an even wider field of long-shot candidates, the South Carolina senator is plotting a path that many Republican donors and strategists consider credible if Trump or DeSantis falters. And I actually agree with that. Tim Scott's the one guy that if this last bit of support collapses, I could see Tim Scott or Ramaswamy taking second. Ramaswamy for being unique on some issues. Well, Tim Scott's at least likable. That's, again, the one thing I'll give him credit for. Two things. Focusing on God and actually being semi-likable. Not, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but, hey, he seemed solid. On that front, at least. Outside of that, his record in the Senate's atrocious. His campaign is powered by a sizable war chest, which I may call money laundering. The fact that, Republicans mysteriously spent $80 million on an uncontested race in South Carolina. Essentially uncontested. I'm totally certain they weren't planning for him to run for president. I'm certain of it. And a record of electoral success in his home state that suggests he could appeal to both evangelical Christians and traditional conservatives, two significant constituents in presidential nominating contests. And that's the big thing. He is definitely going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at those evangelicals in Iowa. That's a strategy. Iowa and South Carolina. New Hampshire, he's going to get absolutely walloped in. He's not going to qualify for delegates. But his Hail Mary is do decent enough in Iowa, run up in South Carolina, try to get as many delegates as possible, try to win as many districts as possible. You just can't get crushed in Iowa. And that is, I would say, actually a smarter campaign strategy than DeSantis. Because at least with Scott, he's focusing on a vote group that is big in the early parts. While DeSantis, I don't know what his campaign's doing. Are they trying to appeal to evangelicals? Yes, the abortion stuff's good, but, there, to a lesser extent, I don't know how much that's going to carry you in a primary when Trump's the president that got rid of Roe versus Wade. And it just doesn't seem like DeSantis' campaign. I don't know if they have anybody with a brain in it. I really don't know what they're trying to do. They're banking on California and Texas. That's their strategy, the DeSantis campaign. Focus on states that are way later in the primary process, so Trump could just gain more momentum and probably win those two states? Or at least with Tim Scott. And again, he's not my favorite option. He's crap on certain issues. At least with him, he's focusing on Iowa and South Carolina. It's still a long shot beyond long shots, but it seems more sound than what DeSantis is focusing on. Win Florida, California, and Texas. Well, those are late in the primary. If you get crushed in all four of the first four states, it doesn't freaking matter. You're done. You have no momentum. We live in a land where it is possible for a kid raised in poverty by a single mother in a small apartment to one day serve in the People's House and maybe even the White House. And again, this was Scott's main bread and butter. Focus on his personal stuff. Focus on God. and try to be as likable as possible. That's going to be his main strategy, especially with evangelicals. But overall, it was not the best announcement. You had the mic failing halfway. You had his nephew being, I really don't know. I thought that was Herschel Walker's son for a second, but it wasn't. It just seems like that this is more of an audition to the VP slot. But at least he's trying to bring something different. I give him credit for that. Perry Johnson's bringing something different. Ramaswamy's bringing something different. Nikki Haley, I don't know what she's bringing. Ron DeSantis, I guess, focus on cultural issues. But again, this is just, I see more of a VP slot, but why are you going to spend $30 million for that? That just seems like a bit excessive, but who knows? Things can absolutely change. And maybe Tim Scott somehow takes second. And I think if DeSantis, magically doesn't run or drops out, I could see Scott taking second. I really could. Or Ramaswamy. Again, that's if DeSantis 100% collapses and he drops out the first week. But I could see him doing better than Nikki Haley. I could see him doing better than maybe Mike Pence. But we just got to see what happens. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.